is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. May these words, may our meditations, may our actions be light to the world. Amen. Thank you, Frank. The tender prayer of Valjean, right? For his son-in-law before doing battle. Great peace. So let's get to the depth, the seriousness of the trap out of the way, so I can get to the question that's been hunting me all week. To say that the stakes are getting higher for Jesus is an understatement. The ones who would entrap him are strange bedfellows indeed. Pharisees, those responsible for bringing the purity of temple worship to the Jewish people, and followers of Herod, those who are acting out the persecution of those same Jewish people, are working together to trick Jesus. The alliance is already an abomination. They come to Jesus with a question about taxes, a normal experience in Jewish life, payable in service of healthy communities. But these taxes are going to the conquerors, the Romans, and the ones collecting the taxes, those Jewish people under contract, are taking more than what is expected or required to fill their own pockets. And likely, the temple is in on this racket. Schmoozing Jesus with words dripping with insincerity, they ask the question, is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar, the conqueror? Is it within Jewish law? Is it within civil law? Well, here's the thing. Good and faithful Jews already know the answer to that question. Of course it's lawful to pay taxes. The law of the land is the law. But the tax system is unjust. The people are being squashed by it. If Jesus says yes, it's lawful, the people will turn against him. If he says no, Roman authority will charge him with treason. So this unlikely alliance has Jesus pinned in a corner. Masterfully, like always, Jesus recognizes the trap and asks the question that entraps them. That question and their response indicates temple and Roman collusion. Whose face is on the coin? And they bring him a denarius. There should not have been a denarius in the place anywhere. You see, the only money that should have been there was temple money for the offering and to purchase the sacrifices. There should have not been any sniff of any Roman money, any other kind of money in the place. Followers of the Pharisees, keepers of the temple worship, have a denarius. They're already trapped. Jesus continues. When they say Caesar's face is on the coin, Jesus keeps the law of the land. And he reminds them of that in the first place. Give to the emperor that which is the emperor, and give to God that which is God. Jesus will not be trapped. And worse still, he turns the tables on them. No wonder they were amazed. This amazed is not a good amazed. This is not like, that's amazing. It's, holy, that's amazing. Right? So here's the question that's haunted me all week. What is God's? What belongs to God? If I'm supposed to give to Caesar the taxes that are due Caesar required by Jewish law, what am I supposed to give God? If I'm a faithful Jew, I might remember the law that requires 10% of my harvest, 10% of my income. would do well to do that. The church would do well to remember we aren't likely giving anywhere near what the law requires. Or I might remember the words of the prophet Micah, who said, what does the Lord require? To seek justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God. But this is the temple. This is the place where Jesus has consistently nailed the authorities for their hypocrisy, saying one thing and doing another. There they are, keeping a part of the law, but ignoring vast parts of the law by colluding with the Roman Empire. This is also the place where Jesus notices the temple treasury, where people are putting in their tithes. He noticed most people were putting in what was required out of their abundance, out of what was left over. But he saw the widow with 2 coins. She gave all she had. She gave everything. What is God? If I say everything, if I say God wants all of me, God wants all of us, what does that mean? Who am I that God should want everything? What is everything? What is Jesus really up to here? I think in all the lessons he's teaching in the temple, confronting the hypocrites of his time, he's reminding those who would hear him of the covenant of Israel. The Pharisees and their followers, the people coming to Jerusalem for the pilgrimage, the people of the land, the people of the law, the Jewish people, they are people of God's holy covenant. You remember what it said? I will be your God and you will be my people. Jesus reminds them all, in all of these stories, we are in covenant relationship with God, and we are in covenant relationship with each other. That's what the law is all about. Today, Jesus Christ is the fulfillment of that covenant. The life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ is the way God ultimately keeps covenant with us. By becoming one of us. By walking the human journey before us and with us now. By dying his death, by dying the death we avoid at all costs, and by transforming death into new life, God fulfills the covenant promise. Can any one of us be more loved? And when that's true for me, it's true for you and all of us. The covenant is fulfilled with all of us, which then calls us into what? Covenant relationship with ourselves, with one another. I think this is a good place for the church to remember the path of the living one we call Christ. First and foremost, we are not alone on this journey. We are, first and foremost, travelers together in covenant relationship with one another. And it begins here and now in relationship with one another here. God, that which is God, is saying yes to the covenant with fellow travelers. Give to God your humanity, and give your humanity to each other. I want to finish with the words of Wilma Dirksen. Wilma Dirksen was interviewed by Anna Maria Tremonti on The Current on Thursday morning. Wilma Dirksen is the mother of Candace Dirksen, whose murder 33 years ago has not been solved. There were 2 trials in the case. The first convicted a killer. The second overturned that verdict, saying the DNA evidence could not be proven. The interview with Wilma Dirksen was amazing. She was asked about the guy who walked out of prison a free person. I heard her offer up her own humanity, saying things like, he had a troubled life. There was lots of abuse in his life. I had to go back to the transcript to make sure I got right what she said. Here are her words. Well, I guess I still believe that every human being is important and valuable, and they're here for a reason. And I think over the years I have met many people in prison, and I've come to understand that there is humanity there. It's always intriguing and always interesting, and there's always a story. And I go to that place and try to remain in that place. God's covenant with us is most certainly like this. Our covenant with one another can be like this. May it be so. Amen. Please pray with me. Holy One, you have kept covenant. The truth of your coming, your living, your healing, your teaching, your dying, your rising. You keep covenant. You've kept covenant. May we respond